In the last video, the battle between Frieza and the Saiyans had begun, with the Saiyans having the upper hand at first, until Frieza transformed into his final form, which then the battle turned to his favor. And now with his new awakened power, Turles faced off against Frieza. So what do you think will happen? Find out in this part 4 of What If Kakarot Had a Twin. Vegeta just barely stands up next to Kakarot, still feeling off after he took those couple of blows from Frieza. Frieza was barely trying, and he did this to him, which makes him wonder, is he suffering a concussion, or what's he seeing actually real? Turles is fending well up against Frieza, which makes Vegeta continue to wonder, with that red glow and surge of power, is he really a Super Saiyan? No, that can't be it. Well, it's the only explanation for it, but what Vegeta doesn't know is, it's not Super Saiyan. And even if Turles does well now, it's only until Frieza uses 100% of his power. And after Frieza launches a series of attacks, he finally lands one on Turles. Then he grabs onto Turles' armor, holding a hand, charging a blast at his chest. Kakarot tells him no, don't do it. And before Frieza fires the blast, Kakarot rushes in, and with the burst of power, he was able to knock Frieza away, saving Turles. Turles then looks at Kakarot. It seems like he's not the only one who gained this power. Kakarot is now shown with the same kind of aura that Turles had, but instead of red, it's blue. And the name I gave for this power-up is something that's simple but also not too crazy. And I hope everyone will accept this because I couldn't really think of any better names. But this power is called Surge. And Surge is exclusive to only Kakarot and Turles, so Raditz won't get it, nor Gohan, in case you were wondering. And Turles is actually not mad that Kakarot has this power. I mean, it makes sense. If he have it, he should too. But one thing that Turles knows strange is that power didn't change Kakarot's demeanor. He's exactly the same. Then Frieza shows back up, and he has a shocked expression on his face, seeing two Saiyans with the same exact power boost. One was already trouble enough, but now that there's two, it's going to be a real problem. Kakarot, Turles, and Frieza then clash, starting their battle. And with Kakarot and Turles working together, they actually fend Frieza off, backing him into a corner. And even though they're doing well, Turles noticed that Kakarot can't maintain the form very well, which makes him realize that they need one good shot on Frieza. It's a hard-fought battle because the twins don't really have full control over this new power, but they end up defeating Frieza by charging up a Kamehameha, firing at Frieza, which seemingly engulfs him, blasting him away. Frieza even tried to blow up the planet, but the twins wouldn't allow him to. Kakarot and Turles then both powered down. Then Turles looked up in the sky, saying how pathetic. The Emperor of the Universe got defeated by two low-class Saiyans. Then Kakarot and Turles go check on the other Saiyans. Raditz and Vegeta have suffered heavy injuries, but they'll be fine once they recover. But when they check on Nappa, they find him dead, due to blood loss. If this was the old Vegeta, he would have called Nappa a weak excuse for a warrior. But ever since the twins showed up, Vegeta changed. He's actually showing respect towards Nappa and gets ready to bury him. But Kakarot tells him to hold off on burying Nappa, even though he knows he shouldn't be telling him this, but he knows a way to bring Nappa back. And Vegeta's shocked. He knows how to revive Nappa? Kakarot said he'll explain on their way back to Earth, but for now, they're gonna need his body. And since the Saiyan pods were destroyed during the battle, everyone goes on the twins' ship. But as soon as they're about to head on the ship, a beam of ki goes through Raditz's chest, killing him instantly. Everyone is shocked. Then they look up. They see it's Frieza. He's still alive. Thanks to his incredible durability, he was able to survive the blast, with half of his body missing. Frieza then points another finger towards Kakarot, launching another death beam towards him. He's about to hit him, but at the last second, Turles knocks him away, and taking the beam head on himself, killing him. And Kakarot is dumbfounded. He can't believe what just happened. His brother sacrificed his life to save him. His emotions are so tense, it snaps something within Kakarot. His power skyrockets. First he gets the aura of his new surge power, but then something unexpected happens. His hair, it starts to transform into a gold color, his eyes turning teal. Then Kakarot lets out a huge scream, transforming, becoming a Super Saiyan. With the sheer amount of power that he's releasing, he completely stuns Frieza, and he's not the only one. Vegeta is also stunned by this. He wasn't sure about it before, but now he can confirm it. This is the Super Saiyan. Kakarot then hits Frieza with a rapid flurry of attacks, knocking him up into the atmosphere. Then Kakarot charges a full power Kamehameha. The blue beam darts across the sky, making contact with the Emperor, defeating Frieza once and for all. And due to lack of energy, Kakarot then drops out of the form. Kakarot then looks at himself, amazed. He never felt anything like that before. What was that? Then Vegeta comes to aid Kakarot, explaining that he became a Super Saiyan. And as they got the body of their dead allies, they take off, heading back to Earth. On the way back, Kakarot explains to Vegeta about the Dragon Balls. So, the rumors about the Wish Wars were true. And after they arrive back on Earth, Goku collects the Dragon Balls and summons Shenron. and he wishes for all the Saiyans that was killed by Frieza to be brought back to life. So Raditz, Nappa, and Turles come back to life. And after he comes back to life, Turles does admit it was a weird experience being brought back. And after the Saiyans revival, they actually decide to stay on Earth. They have nowhere else to go. And now that Frieza's dead, King Cold's gonna be looking for them. So they would rather stay here. Well, that was one main reason. Another is that they want to learn about Super Saiyan from Kakarot, because they want to see if they can achieve this form. But the twins are curious. Frieza has a dad, and the Saiyans tell him about King Cold, and saying how he's around the same strength as Frieza. And the twins are shocked that his dad is around the same level as Frieza. Frieza was already trouble enough, but now that they got a Super Saiyan, King Cold shouldn't be a problem. But it would still be better if they all had access to Super Saiyan. Meanwhile in space, we cut to King Cold. He's wondering what happened to Frieza. He hasn't heard from him in a while. So King Cold's army try to find the last whereabouts of Frieza, until they see Frieza's ship last went to a barren planet. Why would he ever go there? So King Cold set course to head to the planet. And when he gets there, it seems like a battle went down. Cold sees dead soldiers from the Frieza force, but also with Frieza's ship. He takes off the scouters from the dead soldiers and see what was the last recorded from the battle. And it seems like Frieza was getting ready to get rid of the Saiyans. But the battle was so intense, some of the recording kept on cutting out. But it seems like Frieza was defeated, and the Saiyans have retreated to a planet called Earth. So King Cold ends up deciding that he's gonna go to Earth. But first, he's gonna gather up with the rest of Frieza's army and invade. Meanwhile, back on Earth, there's a passage of time of 1 year. And by this time, Kakarot has learned to control Super Saiyan much better. He can willingly transform into it, and utilize the form much better. Turles is able to unlock Super Saiyan, and the other Saiyans are actually on the cusp of it, but not fully. Kakarot's also been training with Chi-Chi and Gohan as well. Ever since Goku reached a new level, they also want to try to catch up to him, as they don't want to be left behind. Gohan's grown a lot stronger since they came back, and you remember Raditz saying that Hybrid Saiyans has a lot of potential, so that could be one reason why. Chi-Chi and the other humans have grown a lot too, with Krillin and Tenshinhan showing off what they've been working on. Ever since they completed their training with Kami, they were granted special access to Otherworld, and going to meet King Kai, where they learned the Kaioken and Spirit Bomb. They're able to push their Kaioken up to times 10, until one day, they feel a huge power coming to Earth, and it feels like Frieza's. This must be it. This must be King Cold, and he's here. And he's not the only one. They feel a lot of power levels coming. King Cold must have brought an army with him. But there's a big group waiting for him. It's Kakarot, Turles, Vegeta, Nappa, and Raditz, with the inclusion of Krillin, Tenshinhan, Chi-Chi, and Gohan. First they face off is a wave of soldiers, which they defeat real easily, which is followed by a group of people striking a pose. Nappa, Raditz, and Vegeta obviously know who this is, the Ginyu Force. And the Earthlings say they got this. The Saiyans don't have to interfere, with Gohan fighting Goldo, Chi-Chi fighting Raccoon, with Tenshinhan fighting Birder and Jace, and Krillin fighting Captain Ginyu. They were all defeated pretty easily, and when Captain Ginyu tried to switch bodies, he ends up missing and swapping bodies with Goldo, which gave him the perfect chance to finish them both off. Now the only one left is King Cold. Kakarot and Turles steps up, but then Vegeta interjects and saying that they had their fun with Frieza, now it's their turn. Vegeta then powers up, then transforms. His hair turns gold and reveals that he could turn into a Super Saiyan. And even though Vegeta would love to savor this battle, he can't. He has to make this quick, as he can't maintain this form for too long. And that's exactly what he did, as he didn't waste no time. He teleported right in front of King Cold, sticking both hands out. Then he fires a blast, eradicating King Cold. That should be it. Frieza's dead, King Cold's dead, they won. And everyone's impressed with each other's strength, especially the humans. Their Kaioken is amazing, even though they only used it to get the extra speed. But they can tell that their base power is increased a ton too. The Saiyans are impressed that the Earthlings are capable of such strength to defeat the Ginyu Force of all people. Everyone grew so strong during this time period. And of course, Kakarot and Turles want to test out everyone's strength. They're really impressed with Krillin and Tenshinhan. That Kaioken technique really is something. And the twins are also impressed with Vegeta. Of all the Saiyans, he got Super Saiyan before them. They thought Raditz was next, but no, it was Vegeta. So that means if Vegeta can do it, the rest of the Saiyans can transform into Super Saiyans as well. And after that, we enter another time skip by another year, because technically King Cold has arrived when the Saiyans would have arrived. So we're at the point in time where King Cold was supposed to arrive, but he doesn't, because, you know, he's dead. And there's no Mecha Frieza either, because he's also dead. So around this point in time, Kakarot does meet a time traveler, his future Trunks. And Kakarot actually knows about Trunks. And the reason why is, Vegeta is on Earth a lot more earlier, and he does meet Bulma. And he had a couple of years with her, so Trunks does eventually get born. Which means Trunks is born much earlier. But there's also a second person that Kakarot doesn't recognize. He has red hair, and he looks awfully familiar. But he ends up introducing himself to Kakarot. He says his name is Toma, and he can't really reveal much of himself, as he's not born yet. If he reveals too much, he might cease to exist. You see, in a couple videos ago, I asked who Turles should end up with, and I asked the comments for ideas. Some said with Tyson, others said with Launch, but the one that made most sense to me was Suno. So Turles ended up with Suno, and had a child together, which made Toma. And Toma's name is basically just Tomato, cause, you know, his red hair. But Trunks warns Kakarot about the androids attack that happens in 3 years, explaining that they all died to the hands of them. You see, I didn't want to give Kakarot the heart virus in this scenario because, for one, he wasn't raised wildly in the woods like in the original scenario. And there's also another one where he said he got it from Yardrat, and Kakarot didn't go to Yardrat in this scenario either, so he didn't get the heart virus. Instead, he died to the androids, and so did Turles. So in his future timeline, the only warriors who were there to protect the Earth from the androids were him, Toma, and Gohan. But Gohan did eventually fall to the androids as well, which leaves those two left. He hoped that this warning would end up changing the future. But before they leave, Kakarot asks them, he wants them to see them at full power. So, the two of them transform into Super Saiyans, and Kakarot does as well. And they have their match. Obviously, Trunks or Toma are stronger than Kakarot, but Kakarot uses this opportunity to gauge how much stronger they need to get before fighting the androids. So after their match, Kakarot thanks them for the warning, and promises that they're gonna change the future. Trunks and Toma wishes them good luck, and they return back to the future. But as soon as they left, everyone else arrives, wondering what happened. They felt Kakarot fighting his two other huge powers. Was he under attack? Kakarot then explains to them what happened, about the future and the androids, and how that they're gonna need to train as hard as they can to change the future. With that being said, this is where we'll leave this part off. What did you guys think of this part, and what do you think will happen next? If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like on it, and subscribe to the channel. It will support me and support the channel. With that being said, I'm DBZ Anarchy, and I'll see you guys next time.